I think with just about every vehicle I've ever purchased, I pretty much dislike the in-dash receivers that the factory installed. And this van, unfortunately, is no exception. This unit right here gives me AM, FM, and it has a little 3.5 millimeter input jack down on the lower right if you're fortunate enough to have something to plug in there to provide your own music, which I don't. This is the Kenwood receiver that I purchased to have installed in my van. It's very similar to the model that I installed on my Jeep JK. And unlike the stock receiver, which has a small screen on it, this has an almost 7-inch touchscreen. What I found is that these will pair up very easily to my cell phone, so that I can have hands-free talking. And I also buy the what they call a pack kit, which is a wiring kit that integrates directly into the wiring harness of the vehicle, so there's no cutting of wires at all. One end of the pack kit, you hook up to the color corresponding wires that's on the receiver, and the other end has a connection which plugs directly into the stock wiring harness. Like I said, no cutting. Everything is nice and clean and professional. But since there's so much that has to be done to pull this dash apart and install it into my van, I'm going to take advantage of the free installation where I bought this from, and I'm going to have their technician install this. And now it's time for the installation of my new in-dash receiver to replace the stock receiver in my van. Looking forward to this for a few weeks. There's so much of the dash that has to be dismantled in order to get to the stock receiver and remove that, and then install the new unit. This entire bottom portion of the passenger side's got to be removed, and then over on the driver's side, it's going to be the same thing. And over here on the driver's side, it's no exception. You even have more to remove and things to do before you can remove this entire bezel, which goes across the front and covers over the stock receiver. There's clips on the back of this which hold this entire piece into the dash itself. But in order to remove it, you have to lower the steering wheel. And even though this lever right here allows the steering wheel to go up and down, even in its lowest setting, it will not go low enough to allow the entire dash piece to be brought up and over the top of it. So what you need to do, the technician's going to have to get in underneath the dash, and there's like a cradle or a holder that keeps your steering column up in place. I believe that's held in with 2 bolts, which he would have to remove. That will allow the steering wheel to drop down low enough so that all this can be pulled out and then brought up over the top of the steering wheel. Pretty involved process, and I'm glad I'm not going to get involved with it. The technician's already started dismantling the dash, which is a little bit of an involved process, but I'm glad that somebody else is doing it rather than me. I couldn't shoot too much video from inside because I was prohibited from the work area because of insurance reasons, but so I want to see exactly what this looks like. Oh my God, that's awesome. I think that is so much better than the stock unit that was in here. I have almost 7 inches of a screen here that I can see, and that'll help me with navigation, and just a totally awesome upgrade. I'm getting some reflection off the screen, so you really don't get an idea of how clear and crisp this screen is. This is all a touch screen, and there's just no comparison with the stock unit and this new unit. Big difference. On the back of this unit is a tethered USB port, which is long enough to come out down underneath the dash, where I can plug my flash drive into it, and the flash drive contains all of my music. This Kenwood receiver syncs with my cell phone. It can pull up my contact list so that I can make a hands-free call while I'm driving, or answer call if I have to. And I can speak through the integrated microphone that the technician installed underneath the dash, and the conversation can be heard right through the stock speakers. And of course, the part that I like is that I can install my own logo on the screen.